Hey guys, in this video I'd like to showcase you a Trinity build or two that I came up with. Um, I've started falling in love with Trinity recently, and that's because I kind of enjoy uh, Warframes that can specifically do everything, kind of like Harrow or Garuda, which can both heal themselves and allies and regenerate their own energy so that they can keep casting abilities at infinitum, and also uh, do whatever else, but also dish out damage and stuff like that. Now Trinity can restore energy to the entire team, has superior healing to the entire team than the previous two, but she does lack in the damage department. So I was trying to come up with Helminth abilities that might be able to kind of compensate for her lack of having a damage ability. And there's two that I found that are actually halfway decent. And actually some of them, or to be exact, like the one specific one might even be pretty decent for Steel Path, and I'll showcase that later, but first of all I'm going to start with the Coil Horizon build. So both builds are identical pretty much. The only difference between them is which Helminth ability gets subsumed. And both of these builds, both Thermal Sunder and Coil Horizon, in both of those I replaced the first ability because in my opinion it's the most useless. With its augment, which is the best case scenario, you can get health and you can get energy and health orbs. But you get energy from Energy Vampire and you get superior healing from Blessing, so the first ability is completely useless. So if you would need to replace any ability, it would be always the first one. And also the healing from it isn't that practical to take advantage of in an actual mission situation. So again, just replace the first ability. And both builds are also based around Abating Link, which, although it doesn't really seem like it, is her main damaging or damage enabling part of this build. And this makes the link that chains to up to 3 enemies strip 100% of the enemy armor at 223% ability strength. Note, I do not have 223% ability strength right off the bat. I have 1% missing. That's why I go for Malt Augmented, or if I would like to put it more accurately, I've made sure to get as close as possible to 223 without going over, because Malt Augmented is going to help me get over, and that 1% missing requires 4 point something enemies, meaning 5 enemy kills, to get that 1% missing to make the Abating Link strip all of the enemy armor. And 5 kills is really not a big deal, so that's what's gonna be happening here. And the rest of the ability strength you're gonna get from Malt Augmented goes to strengthen the actual damage of the ability, so that's fine. And now I'm gonna pretty much showcase them. Now what's great about Trinity is she can sustain everything forever. She can have infinite energy with Energy Vampire. She has infinite healing with Blessing in conjunction with getting the energy back with Energy Vampire. Link allows her to kind of weaken enemies in order to proc Energy Vampire, so that you can keep spamming all of these abilities all together. And the way you prevent yourself from dying easily, or prevent yourself from being squishy, is by having Blessing and Link active at all times, which also serve a defensive purpose, with Link serving also an offensive purpose with Abating Link. So here are the builds. I'm gonna summon a few enemies here. Actually, I haven't really tested them, so this might be a good opportunity to do that. So you're going to start off with casting your Link. It's going to chain to the closest enemies. Then you're going to throw this, which is going to not only pull enemies, but also deal damage to them over time. And because it strips them of their armor. Did I get to 5 kills? Yes, no, I have 6. Because it strips 3 of them at least of their armor, they take way more damage, allowing you to just keep doing this, basically. Keep casting Energy Vampire on the pile. And some of those enemies are going to get their armor stripped. That's simple enough to understand. That's one build. Now, the one I find more interesting is the Thermal Sunder build. Now, this one is interesting because in normal content that's not Steel Path, Thermal Sunder is an outright nuke. But in Steel Path, you play it slightly differently. Let me just simulate a bunch of gunners. In Steel Path, or what these enemies are equivalent to, it's going to work slightly differently. So first I'm going to show you what the Thermal Sunder combo is, and then I'm going to show you how it works with the link. So you hold cast, set enemies on fire, and then you tap cast, and all enemies that have a fire proc get pulled to the middle. If you would do it the other way around, then rather than pulling enemies to the middle, it would push them out. So if here I do cold, and then heat pushes them away. But pushing enemies away is clearly inferior to grouping enemies together, so the combo is going to be hold to cast fire, and then tap to pull them all in, and then you can tap again to freeze all enemies solid together in a pile. Click link. And there you go. Now what's interesting, this also leaves a field that does blast, this also deals a ton of blast damage and leaves blast damage procs and status procs of both heat and cold on the enemies. So Thermal Sunder is extremely versatile for a subsumable damage ability, that's why I put it on her. And for just normal everyday content, so that's why it's good at Steel Path, that it does both CC and very, very large AoE of status, which the Abating link helps strip all the armor from, which makes those statuses indeed kill enemies, because by itself Thermal Sunder is weak against high armored enemies. The only thing that can make it viable in Steel Path is stripping armor with Abating link. So I'm gonna showcase this a little bit more to level up these 2 weapons that I still need to level up, or 3, and yeah, have a good day, guys. I'm just gonna keep playing a little bit of ESO to showcase what the Thermal Sunder actually does. But there's no reason for me to talk, so I'll kind of stay silent the rest of the video. I guess unless I really have to say something. Oh, maybe I didn't mention it, but yeah, the Abating link jumps from dead enemy to dead enemy instantly. So as soon as Thermal Sunder kills one enemy, the link's gonna jump to another one, strip it of armor, then it's gonna take the full damage. So you could say in another sense that Thermal Sunder can kill 3 enemies at a time. Also make sure to aim your Energy Vampire at enemies that are at the end of your link, because they're likely to die very soon. And if they die very soon, you can cast it on a new enemy and keep gaining energy. Problem is the enemies are dying too slow for me to actually cast it here. I mean too fast. I can't actually aim at anything. There we go. I'm out damaging one of the Sarens. Pretty satisfying to see enemies just randomly dying all over the place. Oh yeah, that's because one of the Sarens isn't doing anything. Oh, it's an Excalibur. Makes sense. Yep, that's the build. Have a good day, guys.